Welcome back, and today's screencast is based on a question asked on a stock exchange by user Ducky, so thanks for that. The problem was the user had been trying to reproduce what I think was a textbook example or something. So, 4 years floating rate bond, 3 months coupon, and well, according to the textbook, this should be at par for, well, you all know the reason about that. So, what we do is we set the devolution date to today's date that we chose, we build an index to be paid by the bond, and its schedule and the bond itself, and we set a pricing engine based on a discounting curve. We use a 10% rate for both forecasting of the LIBOR, so we link it to the forecasting curve and discounting. Well, of course, is a large rate in these days, but it helps amplifying the effects in the calculation, so we'll go with that. And well, we expect the bond to be at par according to the textbook, but well, it really isn't. We have about 50 basis points of difference from the expected value. What happened here is that well, the real world is messier than textbooks. Of course, well, the user already acknowledged that because here the calendar used was not a real calendar, one that adds any holidays or even weekends that might adjust the schedule. So the null calendar implementation provided by the library doesn't even have holidays on Saturdays and Sundays. So that was correct. However, there was one big discrepancy here between the example and the convention used in the calculation, and one smaller one. The big one was the use of this 3360 day counter as the accrual day counter for the bond, because that's not the day counter that the USD LIBOR is using. USD LIBOR is based on actual 360, is quoted based on actual 360 instead. So if we accrue them according to a 360 day counter, we get, of course, a discrepancy. Here is what we had used for the curve and the bond, and well, instead what the day counter for the index was. What happens here is the coupon accrues for the expected time, but well, 3360 gives us the expected 0.25 for quarterly coupons, but the rate is not the expected 10%. Well, I don't even know if this is the expected, if I put it correctly. I mean, the accrual period is correct in which the bond is I mean, the expectations for the bond were that the coupons were regular, but they are not the correct coupon for canceling out with the calculation of the LIBOR of the curve. Well, anyway, if we reconcile the different convention, by which I mean we use actual 360 as for the index as the accrual day counter for the bond, and as also as the day counter that we use in the curve to convert dates into times, we get a clean price which is much closer to the 100 that we expected. And well, the coupons get to be better, the rates are closer to the the expected 10%. And well, the accrual period is now different, but is, as I said, is the correct accrual period for cancelling out with the LIBOR calculation and give us the telescopic 100 result as the price. We have still some discrepancies here, and those well, are due to probably to adjustment and to holidays and the corresponding adjustments. We did set the calendar for the schedule to a night calendar, but the internal calculation of the LIBOR fixings still uses the calendar used for the USD fixing, which is well, a combination of the UK and the US calendar according to the rules for the fixing dates of the LIBORs. So to get a theoretical par bond, so one which is not any bond that you can find in the real world, but well, the one to get the kind that you can find in the textbook, we can, if you want to check the calculation, create a mock index which well, behaves somehow like the LIBOR, but uses a night calendar for fixing, so that it doesn't perform any adjustment of the underlying fixing and maturity dates. Also, creating our own LIBOR index also allows us to go back to the 3360 day counter that we wanted, because it gave us regular coupon periods. So we used the same a night calendar and 3360 for the LIBOR. The same day counter goes for the bond, and at this point we link the curve back to the flat rate that we created at the beginning, which also had a 3360 day counter. And finally, here is the 100 that we expected, and here are the textbook 10% rates and 0.25 accrual periods that this ideal bond should give. Okay, I'm not sure how useful this would be for this is for. I mean, in the real world, you have to do the opposite. You don't have to use the convention to reprice textbook examples. You have to use the correct conventions to price the real bond that you are examining. But well, so we went about it in a kind of roundabout way. Still, I hope this has shown a few of the points where you have to be careful of the customizations and the conventions you pass. Thanks for listening as usual, and see you next time. Bye.